Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side. It's your weekly freak show here on RenegadeRadio.com. Also Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, TuneIn, Radio Public, wherever you're listening to us. Apple Podcasts, iTunes, we're on everywhere. It's the Dark Mark Show. I'm Dark Mark, the goth comedian, and boy, this is going to be a good one. This is, you're already singing, you're already excited.
I'm already excited.
I'm here with two Hollywood hyphenates.
I like that.
Well, you both do so much, and you both are international beauties, international talented people. I shouldn't say that in the feminist. Yes.
Yeah, we're in a feminist
Shouldn't say that in a feminist theater, but it's obvious.
Yes.
Even the feminists know it's obvious.
And there's more women in this room than men, so there's that too.
But there usually is. There usually is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't know. I think a lot of times women are more interesting than men. You two are definitely more interesting than most men I know.
Oh, well, thank you.
By the way, that is actress, scream queen, I guess you could say, host, former Facebook Live host.
Yes, you really did your research.
No, you'll be surprised. That is Vida Ghaffari.
Yeah, you said it right. Woo!
Did you see me? I was like, I hope I get this right.
No, but you said it great. You said it better than like a Persian doctor when they say, Vida Ghaffari, come into the office.
Well, that's because I just had my proctological exam today. But that's all the thing. Yes.
You were in Westwood for that, right?
Yes, Dr. Ghaffari. Yes. Anyway,
I wish.
Yes. And over to my left, it's funny because I know I've seen you before. We don't know where from years ago.
Yes.
I ran into our other guest about a couple months ago. Hadn't seen you in years.
I know. It's been a while.
Yes, that was since the Club Hell days. All sorts of things. And you, musician, singer, songwriter, sometimes actress, fashionista. You're a clothing designer. You're a motivational guru now.
Ooh.
Well,
there's all sorts of things. No, because I was on your YouTube page. That's Jacqueline Van Bierk.
Ooh, what a nice.
Did I say that right?
Van Bierk.
Van Bierk.
You said the Persian name right. You said the German name wrong.
I'm part German too. Jacqueline Van Bierk. Jacqueline, but I said Jacqueline Van Bierk.
You made her sound French.
It's all about Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Van Bierk. Okay. Formerly the lead singer of Otto's daughter, and now going solo. Before we get started.
Congrats.
Before we get started, we have a couple sponsors. Audible is sponsoring the show. I know you guys are on the road a lot. Audiobooks.
Yes.
Now, here's the deal. We have a deal unprecedented, like nothing you've ever heard they've offered before. Not only do you get any book, and they just came out with an exclusive Mel B from the Spice Girls. Her autobiography, is, the audio portion is only on Audible. You can get a Stephen King book. There's a play of Dracula with Tim Curry, Alan Cumming, and an all-star cast. Whatever you like. One book, 50 Shades of Grey, whatever you want. Stupid stuff, whatever you want. There's something you've wanted to read. I don't know. Mein Kampf might be on there. I don't know what's on there.
Oh, I don't think she goes that way.
I don't know who would be reading that, but I doubt that's on there. Who knows? Maybe yes. But I kid. But whatever you like, and you get a book. But not only that, you get 2 Audible originals. One of them is Patti Smith, did a spoken word show.
Oh,
you get that free with your book. You can get Stephen Fry, the English comic. He does a whole thing about the gossip and hijinks of Victorian England.
Nice.
You can get that free. You get 2 of 6 Audible originals. Those are the 2 I would recommend, especially for this crowd. But you get a book, 2 Audible originals, 30-day free trial if you go to audibletrial.com/DMS. I'm going to say it again, audibletrial.com/DMS. Free book, 2 free Audible originals, and a 30-day trial. Also, one more sponsor, Dewey's Home Cooking. Are you vegan?
I'd like to be, but I'm, coming where I come from, I like kebab too much, so sorry. But I'd like to be. Sometimes.
Are you vegan?
Part-time vegan.
That's right.
Really? There is such a thing?
We were talking about that. Well, if you go to Dewey's Home Cooking, you will be a part-time vegan, too.
Then I will look into it.
No, and when I say vegan, I mean Mexican food.
Ooh.
It's really good.
I had chicken flautas.
Wow.
The biggest faucets I've ever had.
Did it taste like chicken?
It does.
Yes.
Oh.
The man is a genius. Pulled pork sandwiches.
Really?
Philly cheesesteaks. Big Macs on the secret menu.
Normally it's like avocado toast with bread that has no like.
No.
Oh, no.
Well, look at this. Wait a second. Wait, do you see this? I don't know if you ever heard of the industrial club Das Bunker.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
They have Das Baker bake stuff like this.
Oh, wow! That looks like a chocolate brownie or.
And that's 100% vegan.
Ooh,
There
and
it is.
it's even better than
It's
the real
so
thing,
good.
right?
It's just as good as the real thing.
Ooh.
Took my parents there. I had a shrimp po' boy,
Nice.
entirely vegan, delicious.
You know, it's funny you should mention that because I go to a Chinese, what do they call themselves? Medical people. They're Chinese herbalists.
Herbalists.
And
okay.
he's like, let me see your tongue. And he's like, too much dairy. So, sometimes I think about it.
Well, there's 2 locations. 16. Well, there's actually 3 because they have one in Toronto too. So all of our Canadian listeners.
Oh.
But if you're ever in LA, 1253 Vine Street, Hollywood, California, where the M Bar used to be. That's one. Just opened Culver City, 4140 City Terrace Drive in Culver City. We missed the free Thanksgiving dinner, but you can go there and get Doomy's Home Cooking. Their next Mex is open. You can get a delicious brownie, whatever you would like.
Wow, they're taking over L.A.
They are.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are.
great.
They got to
They're
open
really
a
good.
Sherman Oaks location for
Yes.
us Valley
They-
people.
they-
Yes.
they might
North
be.
Hollywood.
That's where I'm from. Are you
Oh,
there?
yeah. I'm around Valley Village.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, we're all
We're neighbors.
Yes.
we should have done this in Valley.
I know.
I know. Come to the big city.
Yeah, because I'm in Tarzana. We could have just
Oh,
we could have just
yeah,
met in
yeah.
Van Nuys or something. But
Yeah.
anyway, Vida, you were recommended by your agent,
Thank you. Big shout out to the
shout
fabulous
out.
Joe Williamson.
the fabulous Joe Williamson. You were recommended. We had your co-star in the movie Robowoman,
Yes.
Donna.
Yes, the lovely Donna Lee Heising,
Donna
who is
Lee Heising.
outstanding as the lead in Robowoman. I've had the honor of working with her before. She's incredible.
No, she's Robowoman. What do you play?
I play a very sinister woman without giving too much away. I'm the assistant to the evil scientist, who is played by legendary actor Mel Novak, who was in Bruce Lee's Game of Death, Chuck Norris's Eye for an Eye. He's like a legendary villain actor.
Right.
And he was in Steve McQueen's Tom Horde. I mean, like, his IMDb goes on and on, but I was like his, crony, his evil assistant, and he was an evil doctor, like a mad scientist.
Well, speaking of evil, I read that you grew up in Washington, the Washington D.C. area.
Yes,
right?
that's like the center of all evil.
Right. And is it true that your parents were diplomats? Is that
My dad could have been a diplomat, but he chose to be a scientist, but not an evil one.
Oh,
My
good.
dad worked for NASA. So,
okay? So
yeah.
so this is like typecasting.
Kind
The
of. It's
assistant to the
interesting.
scientist, yeah.
This is the second time I'm playing a scientist. I was a scientist in another film, and in Middle Eastern culture, being a scientist is like being like Michael Jordan.
Really?
So they really respect it. They have a lot of like admiration for it, or like being like
I would
Michael
say-
Jackson, or I don't know, like a big. Well, that's a dated reference. It's like being
Right.
Beyonce.
Right.
So
That's a dated reference too. But
yeah.
it's okay.
Oh, so what do I
Taylor
say?
Swift, yeah.
Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande.
There you go.
Okay,
There,
it's like
there we-
being
there we-
Ariana
there we go,
Grande.
there
It's like
we
being
go.
a cute 20-year-old
Right,
girl that
right.
gets everything handed to her.
Right.
But so
Except you don't have to go out with Pete Davidson. That's the.
yeah, I'm not really a fan of his. But he said that mean thing to one of our troops.
Oh, I don't follow him. Go ahead.
Well,
I'm
it
more
was
interested
all
in
over.
you.
It was all over the. It was all over the media.
Fuck Pete Davidson. What about you?
Well, like I said, in those cultures, being a scientist is really revered. So when I played the scientist in another film, Abeyance, it hit all the Persian media newspapers. And
Yeah?
usually they write about like intellectual things, but it was... they're like, daughter of so-and-so. And then in one of them, they didn't even mention my dad.
Right.
And a friend of my dad's is like, they didn't mention your dad because he was so smart. And I was like, and people like figured it out already. I was like, that's interesting. So
Right.
it's funny, like,
So he's the superstar of the family.
my dad was definitely the superstar, and I'll tell you something funny. My family followed me out to California, and I had an agent at the time, and she's like, this was years ago, and she's like, there's this show where they're looking for funny senior citizens, and your dad would be perfect because he's over 100, he lived to be over 100, and he's an ethnic. So
Right.
he'd be perfect. And I'm like, my
One
dad
of
is
those
orange.
ethnics, yeah.
One of those ethnics. So she was a New York lady, and it was Betty White's Off Their Rockers. And I was like, Dad, just go for the fun of it. He's like, no, I don't want to.
Right.
And then I'm like, he's over 100, and he doesn't think, I didn't want to be rude, and she wouldn't leave him alone. And she's like, the casting people are really interested.
How many 100-year-old ethnics do you find?
He's over 100, and he's an ethnic.
Yeah.
And he's got special skills because he speaks like 3 or 4. He spoke 3 or 4
Sure.
languages, and I was like, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. And then they were filming a big campaign. I think it was for Tylenol, and they wanted elderly people that had no ailments. And I don't know how they found my dad. Like
Right.
some big ad agency in New York called us, and they're like, "Oh, well, what's your mom like?" I'm like, "My mom is younger," and and then neither one of them was interested. And it was
So
like
how much younger?
My mom is like in her 70s now. My
Oh,
parents
wow,
had a big
okay.
age. It was like an arranged marriage. But it's funny. My dad was the one that would always like flirt with like diner waitresses and like his secretaries. People always thought, "Oh, your mother is so much younger," and it was like the other way around because that's like a male-dominated society. As we're in a feminist theater, I'm saying.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the way. Well, so he grew up in Iran.
He grew up in Iran, and he left when he was like 16. He studied abroad in Europe.
Oh, okay.
So
And you grew up, as I said, you grew up in Washington D.C. Now,
born and raised in D.C. Thank
now
God I don't have Tehran, Iran on my passport. That would like in this administration, not to be political, that would be very scary. I'm very grateful every day.
And so, but anyway, so you obviously your father's a superstar of the family.
Yes.
But how did you get the acting bug?
It's funny. I come from a long line, besides my dad, of artists, mostly painters. My mom was an artist. A lot of my ancestors were artists, artisans, sculptors.
Right.
So there was that in my family. There was also a lot of diplomats. I come from a very large and very old Persian family. But yeah, one of them was like one of my great uncles was like the guy that would draw all the portraits of the king of Iran at the time.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and at the end of his life, he like lost his eye in a duel. He was trying to stop a duel, and it was a very dramatic life. And my dad was so elderly. He was a little boy when this great uncle was around, and he's like, that guy, he led a really tragic life. He was an artist. Do you really want to go that path? But
you don't want to lose an eye.
God forbid. But
Hollywood will take an eye out.
It'll take everything. It'll take your eyes, your kidneys, your teeth, your soul, what little bit of a heart you have left. So, but he's like, I originally started out as a journalist, and he's like, well, it's better than being a journalist because at least when you're a journalist, you're standing out in the cold wanting to interview people.
Right.
So he's like, at least you're like, at least that's different. You get to play a character. But he's like, God, you always see the successful people. You don't see the people that are like trying hard every day. He was very practical.
Yeah, except on the Dark Mark show.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny. I was approached to do something about my dad in Iran, but with all the restrictions and everything, and the fact that Persian tuman in American dollars is nothing, I kind of forego that idea. But it's funny, when I first started out, I would play like I call it the hijab. I was a hijab actress.
Yeah, no, I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah.
Mind of Mencia, you were a hijab
Yes,
actress.
I was a hijab actress, and the guy that played my husband, Max Amini, is now a very successful comic. So good for him. I don't know if you know him, Max.
I know of him. I've never met him.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's from my hometown, and then I did.
So Mind of Mencia, they finally get a racially balanced show, and they have you in a hubby
and then in a veil, yeah, and it's deal. It was at the time they had, and I'm dating myself, Deal or No Deal, and it's Deal or We Kill Your Family.
Well, Mind of Mencia that dates it just Carlos Mencia dates it right there. But.
Yeah, that was my first TV credit, was Comedy Central, and then on the Mindy Project I played it, and it's funny, it was the pilot, and we had this British director, and he directed the pilots of big shows like Sex and the City, so they treated him like a king.
Right.
He wasn't treated like a regular TV.
He's treated like your father.
Treated well, yeah, my dad was treated really well, but good one. But he was like,
full of 'em.
He's like, I want her, and he pointed to me. I want her to be in a full-on burqa. And then the costume designer that I never met at the time was Persian, and she went on to do like the Virgin Suicides and all these big, Sofia Coppola movies. And she's like, no, she's Persian. She's like, no. I will not allow her to be in a burqa because that's Afghanistan. Right. That's not Iran. Wow. And then women in Iran, this is a modern woman in America. Why are you putting her in a full black hijab with the coat?
Right.
She had like a whole book she put together of Persian women, like, they all have like blonde hair, and they have like a bouffant hairdo, and then they put the veil on top. And he's like, no way. I want her to be a traditional woman. And she's like, that's what traditional women are. They're fighting for their rights. She walked off the set, and then I was left with like 3 young blonde assistants from the Midwest, and they were trying to cover me up, and they're like, we finally got it right. You have to wear this during lunchtime. And I remember it was so humiliating for me to be on the Universal back lot.
Wait a second. I can understand for the show as a character. They made you wear it at lunch?
Because they didn't want to unwrap and rewrap me.
Wow, that's messed up.
Yeah, that was messed up, and it was a very warm spring day, and I just I was treated like, because people, when you're on the Universal lot, there's people dressed like showgirls. I mean, I could be an actor, but it was very scary, and I felt like the sad little girl that nobody wanted to sit next to in the cafeteria. It was very sad. So, and when I was a hijab actress, I had to. God, that sounds like that should be like the first line of my memoirs. When I was a hijab actress, you have to like use your eyes a lot. Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed is they cut your lines a lot because women from those cultures aren't supposed to talk. So that was very like challenging for me.
Yeah, it's just a close up of you. Just
so now when I have lines, I'm like, oh my God, I have so many lines. I'm used to like saying a few things that are profound about like my village or something, or my husband or my child or whatever, and then like there's a close up on my eyes with a little hijab thing. Mm-hmm. But I can't really work that anymore because I don't play those things anymore. So yeah, you're right. I made the transition from comedy to other things, and hijab to non-hijab.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, to lab coat.
And what a beautiful face. Why would anybody want to cover it up?
Oh, thank you. But it's very good to work the hijab.
I'll take
I had like my hints. Like, so I had like seductive hijab lady.
But not only that, you can play other ethnicities.
Yes, and I've been getting that, thank goodness, lately too.
Right. You can play any ethnicity, I would think.
I think it's like when you first...
You got kind of like a Paula Abdul kind of like, what the fuck is it? I
don't
know.
I love Paula Abdul. I wish I could sing like her or you or, know. Yeah.
So, anyway, like a Mariah Carey, like, I don't know what the fuck she is, whatever.
Wow, if I had that voice.
Yeah, well, speaking of great voices, here she is.
Yes.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Now, what is the town in Germany where you grew up?
It's a very small town. It's maybe 5,000 people left in there.
Really?
I call it my little shit town.
Your little shit town.
It's really cute, but this is really boring.
Well, what's it called?
Loops,
Germany.
The biggest thing, we actually have a brewery, believe it or not.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Germany.
Okay, yeah. That's
how do you spell loops?
It's Lu umlaut BZ, like loops.
I was hoping there would be an umlaut.
It's in Mecklenburg.
Yeah, it's very metal.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a really cute town. If like people from America go there from a big town, they're like, "Oh my God, this is so cute! It's like a little fairy tale town."
Is it near Munich or Berlin? Or
it's near Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So when people say where you're from, I'm like from Hamburg because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's just
Can't you just say a suburb of Hamburg? Is it a suburb?
No, it's actually 2 hours away from Hamburg. It's still
so
way...
it's like
Germany's that big?
There's fields.
It's not that big, but like from my town to Munich, it's about 8 hours with a car. Like, so it's about probably like 14, 15 hours.
So it's so much smaller on a map.
It does, yeah.
So there's like fields.
It's like Texas.
Yeah, it's like a small town.
Yeah.
So
it's like a lot of woods.
Yeah.
It's a lot of land.
Right.
Gardens.
And
old people.
Oh.
Well, I thought Luce would be like also hot young people. Now, how did you?
There's some young people.
You must.
But that's not much work, It just, it's.
I bet everybody's like blonde and they wear the
no,
little.
they're
What's the
not.
outfits you guys wear during
No,
October?
lederhosen, no. That's the southern part. That's
what
Bavaria.
about bratwurst?
That's Bavaria, but bratwurst is very especially for Christmas.
So only in Bavaria they wear those outfits?
Yeah, mainly. They're more traditional. The northern part is not traditional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where you were was very traditional.
Very non-traditional.
Non-traditional.
Yeah,
okay.
So no lederhosen for you with the little pigtails.
No lederhosen, but for carnival we do that.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cute.
I used to be like in a little carnival troupe, so we would wear those.
I'm picturing that right now.
Oh, I bet he's loving that.
You little
so
next to me in the hijab.
Did you always want to go? Did you always want to go to America? Did you, since you were a little girl?
I just knew, like when I was a little girl, I'm like, this cannot be it. Like I need to get out of
You have to go to Los
Loops
Angeles.
is not it.
I just wanted to be in a big town.
Right.
So I was like, if I could just be in Berlin, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
And then I met a friend. I ended up in Hanover, and I met a friend, and we were like, let's go to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. There's
York
a stopover
was
in New York. Yes.
Yeah, stopover in New York. Yeah.
And New York was it. That was kind of like...
You were a teenager?
Love at first, yeah.
Teenager?
Yeah, love at first sight.
Yes.
I was like, this is it. I'm home.
Yeah.
That's my home.
New York or just the United States?
New York.
Okay. And how was it in New York? I mean, it's...
It was awesome at the time I was there. I was really green, and I did all the things I never got to do in Germany.
Yeah.
Party a lot.
Yes.
You got it out of your system.
Party a lot, and just see the world more and
right.
different cultures. Which my town was just German people.
Oh right.
We didn't have any multicultural things happening
right.
there.
Was that a shock? Like you go from
I
small
loved
town
it.
Germany
I loved it. I was craving that. I just wanted
to the
diversity.
biggest melting pot in the world.
Oh, it was so awesome. The first few nights we stayed actually like on 42nd Street, like near 42nd Street, like a block away.
It's
And
always
I
it's always the
loved
42nd
it.
Street
Always
story.
42nd
It is. You have to be there. You
Yeah.
know? It's just one of
42nd
those.
Street.
No,
And
it's nothing like it is anymore now. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, so you were back then.
that
on
was like the
42nd
late
Street,
90s. Yeah, yeah.
like porn theaters.
It was some of that was still there, not all of
Crackheads.
it, but yeah.
Oh, late 90s. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
But it was still, some of it was still there.
Seedy underworld.
Yeah, like very New York,
This is funny because everybody's
saw
like,
in the
"Oh,
movies.
New York is all Disneyland." I'm like, "No, go a block over. It's not Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's still there."
I mean, it's cleaned up a lot,
Yeah.
over the past
Gotten very
15,
pricey.
20
Yeah, but
yeah.
trust me, the old New York is right around the corner from the Lion King. Trust me.
Ah.
All you gotta do every time I go to New York, you're like, it's Disneyland. I'm like, no, there's some shitholes down here. Trust
Yeah.
me. Yeah, there's a crackhead sitting a block away. Don't worry about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, they're
But
still there.
so yeah, late '90s, which was the golden age of industrial music,
I know.
Yeah.
and that's when you formed Otto's Daughter. Was that
Yeah.
New York or L.A.?
In New York.
Okay.
Yeah, in like 1999. Oh my God. It's
Oh, so long ago.
So
Like the
long ago.
Prince song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you thought the world was going to end, so why not start a band?
I was auditioning for bands and I could never find a band. Everybody wanted a singer that sounds like somebody.
Oh, yeah,
And I
especially
was like,
back then.
and I'm like, that they already exist. So
Yeah.
that's no point in starting that
Right.
band, So I started
And were they
writing
looking for
my own.
male singers or female singers?
I definitely had other bands who were like, I don't know about a female singer, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really
You look
weird.
like a lead singer, though. You've got
Thank
that
you.
look to you.
You've got the
Thank
star
you.
quality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always have.
So thank you. So I started writing my own stuff,
Yeah.
with my back then drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let's make a band. Actually, it was just a project, and we didn't know what we were doing. We met this guy at the laundromat, and he's like, what are you doing? Well, we're making music, going to producers, paying a lot of money for making songs.
Right.
And
Washing clothes.
what?
There's washing clothes, I would imagine, too.
And so he's like, I do computers, so I can build your computer and show you how to do your
Nice.
own thing. So we didn't really know.
Where's this guy? I need a computer.
Yeah.
We didn't know shit.
Late
you know what I mean?
90s.
Like,
Yeah.
we were just kind of learning as we were going along, and that's how we started
Are you
writing
the
songs.
only German in it?
Yes, I was doing
Oh.
German, and yeah.
And Otto's Daughter became. Now, who's Otto?
Otto was my dad.
Okay, because I was going to
yeah,
ask.
yes.
your daughter.
And I'm sure everybody's asked you that.
I know, yeah.
Such a hack question, but I had to
A
ask.
few people asked me if that was from The Simpsons. I never even watched The Simpsons, so I'm like, who? The bus
Is there an
driver from
Otto?
The-
Yeah.
I guess. So I'm like, definitely not.
No, your father's Otto.
My father was Otto, and he was this grumpy saxophone player,
Love it.
Also, you come from musicians.
He was in a band, and he played the drums and sang and played saxophone. And
So he was like
did
the-
cover songs. He did it like he was a party
Oh,
band.
that's lovely.
Yeah.
So he's the
It
biggest
sounds
rock
like
star
Adam
in your
Sandler
small-
He was a rock star in my small town. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have a day job, and then he would go on the weekends and play, shows with his band.
Wow, it sounds like a
Yeah.
great indie film, your life.
It is.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
I can see the collaboration from here. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 So, and in New York, that's when Otto's Daughter. And then when did you get to L.A.?
2003.
Okay. And had you already put out an
That
album?
also feels so long ago. Yes. I put out 2 albums between that.
Right.
The first one was just like that experiment kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, we worked actually with this producer, Neil Kernan. He worked with like a bunch of industrial bands at the time.
No, he's a big name. in
Right?
the
Yeah,
industrial,
yeah. And he mixed it. So we went
Right.
to El Paso to have it mixed. And then...
El Paso, Texas.
Mhm.
Which
That was
reminded
cool.
you a little bit of Germany because there's a
No,
lot of
it
wide
was-
open spaces.
It was cool. It
Yeah.
was just really cool, and the food was good. We had
I
like this
bet.
chef who
Oh,
she
yeah.
cooked like all these Mexican food. I was like, yes.
Because you never had. I mean,
I
Tex
never-
Mex.
no-
not
there's-
authentic, not authentic.
There's no Mexican food in Germany.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, now that maybe is, but yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, they got Taco Bell here or there.
Yeah. So
But-
yeah, we had 2 albums, and then we came out here, and I came with half of the band because I was like, I need to go to LA. I don't know why. I have to go.
You keep doing this.
I know.
You
well,
wanted
I've been
nice
here for
weather.
a while.
Yeah.
So, half the band came. So we actually, the first show I played in LA was at the Rainbow Bar and Grill
Right.
doing an acoustic show.
That seems to happen.
That's a great
I was like, oh, I don't
location.
have a full band. So
Yeah.
my guitarist and I were just like, let's just play some songs and see
And
what
how'd that
happens.
go over?
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually you got a lot
And
of.
then we put a new lineup together, and
And that's the lineup that got a lot of songs on a lot of
Yes. Mm-hmm.
movies and TV because there's no music industry anymore.
No, there isn't, unfortunately.
Right. And I'm gonna because I was shuffling between Otto's Daughter and your solo stuff, and we're gonna get to that in a second. 'Cause
Okay.
There's a contrast, but So, but you were on the Vampire Diaries. What other shows?
It's awesome.
That was the promos for Vampire Diaries, Melrose Place,
Melrose Place.
Gossip Girl,
Like all of
the hot
Fox.
shows.
One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
But it was just all the promos, you know.
Yeah.
But the entire that was the entire EP we recorded here.
Right.
With that guy Brian Karlstrom, he did like The Offspring, and
Right.
he was amazing.
And so, was he the how you got those songs on the TV shows?
No,
or-
I did that. I'd send it out to some people, and
Yeah.
Good for you,
yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
And so, and that's and then what happened? And Otto's daughter, trust me, in the industrial scene, very hot,
I can imagine.
very very hot. Did a lot of touring.
We did the U.S. Yeah, we
Now,
played.
did you
yeah.
ever go back to Germany touring?
You know, we did some acoustic shows in Germany, like
Yeah.
electric guitar acoustic shows.
Right.
A few, and they loved it. And it was funny because I told Jim at the time.
Is that because of visa problems? Because for the rest of the band, or
Well, I was going on vacation. I was like, why not book a few shows? Like, Jim always hated that, but I'm like, I cannot because we love what we do, right? It's not.
Yes,
it's never work for
you
me.
want to do it
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's never work.
Yeah,
I'm like, I
you
just want
wanna
to book
share
some
the
shows and play,
experience.
you know.
right.
Of course.
And so I was like, you play acoustic guitar, and I'll just put like a little dance beat behind it, and the Germans love that. You give them like a little
yeah.
and
Yes.
they love it. So
I-
it was fun.
No, I love German industrial. That's all. But you still got that beat.
I still love. I mean, I love electronic music. I love Rammstein. That's my favorite
Right.
German band.
Yeah.
You know, I love. You know what's weird? My favorite band in the world.
But you
actually is
understand the
Pantera.
words.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be great to listen to Rammstein and understand the words.
It's great.
You love Pantera. Well, you love metal. You love industrial.
Yeah.
And I've seen you live, and it was great. Now, did you play the small town that you came from?
I did not play there, but I played the bigger town near our town.
And
that was fun.
And did the rest of your
My mom was just like, "Oh wow," she's never seen me play. You know, she's like, "You're wild."
You're wild. Mom,
like-
don't you remember?
I know, right? I'm like, I'm your child.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
But
You're
we're kinda
coming
the
back
opposite.
home right now. You're too wild. That's
She
great.
did not like my music at first at all.
Right.
And she did not like me doing the stage blood and all that. She's like, why do you have to do that? Why can't you just look pretty, you know?
Oh.
I'm like, I am pretty. Like,
No, you are.
I was trying to be really shocking, and then guys would come up, you're so hot. I'm like, dude, I'm covered in blood. Like, what's wrong with you?
For some guys, I'm sure that's
I
a
know,
thing.
You know, guys. Yeah.
It was fun.
Nothing.
Like a
nothing.
fetish.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'd be surprised.
We played a lot of those shows.
You had
the
to go to
fetish
Club
shows.
Hell. It was quite an
Especially in
experience.
Germany. Where is Club Hell? In Hollywood?
In Hollywood. Oh yeah. But no, that's where we met, and they had like.
Did we meet there? Did we play a show?
I've seen you.
I've seen you all the time at Bar Sinister.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I've seen you play, and I've seen you. I don't know if it was Bar Sinister or some other place, but I know I've seen you play.
That was probably already without the blood, though.
And I remember. I don't think I've ever seen the blood. 'Cause
Yeah.
trust me,
that was back in New York. Yeah.
That'd be too much for me. But but she must love what you're doing now. But I'm going to tell you that you're going through a transition. You're going through a transition. In that you started out Mind of Mencia,
Yes.
Mindy Project.
Yeah.
You did a little stand up. You did
Very
some sketch.
brief career, not like you, sir.
No, well, it's a long and
It's hard.
arduous
no?
career.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
show business. We're three show business survivors. We're still. A lot of people have no idea who we are, and who knows if they ever will. But we're three people that are dedicated to doing what we love.
But I feel like in our niches we're known. Like in your German niche and your comedy, when you have your makeup on niche and my little Persian niche.
Yeah.
I'm saying in the mainstream. If
Oh,
you,
right,
yeah.
right.
But I think in LA we are known. But you're known for your celebrity interviews.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I had a really good. Speaking of transitions, I was in a movie that was featured in Variety.
Okay.
And it was over the summer, and that really helped. And the name of the movie was Abeyance. It stars Richard Tyson, Billy Wirth, again, the wonderful, fabulous Mel Novak, Jan Birch, Scout Taylor Compton from Halloween.
Is
1
Mel
and 2.
Novak stalking you? What's going on? He's like
Well, we have the same wonderful representation.
Ah, okay. I gotta get together with his agent.
Yeah. The same wonderful manager. So that was just like an amazing experience to work with those amazing actors. The director, Harley Wallen, was outstanding. His lovely wife, Katie, was amazing. So, and it was just, we shot on location in Michigan, and that was just working with people like Richard Tyson and Mel and Jan
Yeah.
and all of them, it's like, it really is an interesting experience as an artist.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, you know, more doors opened, and then that got me into like the Persian media, and I'm currently guest hosting on a really popular Persian show on their #1 network, ATV Andisha, and they have millions of viewers worldwide. So that's been a great
Now,
ride.
do they make you wear the?
No, it's
I don't know.
based in
I don't know.
Woodland Hills. It's an international. I think it's broadcast everywhere, including Iran, believe it or not. And I don't know how they do it. I guess they go through the satellites or something. I don't know how they
Right.
finagle it, but they do.
So people in Iran are watching you in Woodland Hills.
People in Iran are watching me in Woodland Hills, and the funny part is my parents are both from Tehran, but ancestrally my mom's side of the family is from northern Tehran, and my dad's side of the family is from a city called Kashan. And apparently every time I'm on the show, like, relatives call or email us, and they're like, your daughter's on the show with this
Yeah.
Susie lady, and just wanted to let you know
Yeah.
her Farsi's getting better. Sometimes we do it in English, sometimes we do it in Farsi.
Oh, okay.
But that was kind of cool.
No, I've seen you. I've seen your
Super cool.
YouTube page. I've seen you interview people in English and Farsi.
Yes, and it's funny because it's a homecoming for me because I used to be their red carpet reporter for like movie premieres.
Right. And I saw my favorite because you're just so positive.
Thank you. I
You're
try to be.
so unlike me. You're so positive. You're like my favorite one. There's my two favorites. When you interviewed Martin Short.
Oh my God,
You're like,
I love
You're
him.
so amazing. This is an amazing movie. Your performance is amazing. What do you think about it? And he's like, I got a word for it. Amazing.
Yes, and what you guys
with
don't
that
see.
with that perfect timing.
Exactly, with his perfect timing. What you guys don't see is when I'm standing in the press line. When I was with Persian TV, I was usually at the end of the press line, and
Right.
you know, everybody, all the producers from Extra and ET are always motioning to people like Martin Short. So I got to get their attention somehow.
How'd you do it?
Because I kept saying how amazing he was.
Oh, okay.
So like I was like
So he's an egomaniac, basically.
Not him, but like I'm saying is like you know the
And he can be. He's very talented. He's
other
great. He's
people
one of my
there's
favorites.
like hordes of people back there trying to get their attention. So it was very challenging for me, and sometimes I'd be like by a bush
Right.
or by like the railing. They wouldn't put me in like the best spot, so you really had to like work for it. Eventually, you get to meet more people, and the press people, the PR people are like, here, we'll move you closer to Extra.
Right.
But you know, it's like when you're starting out, you really want to like, hey,
No, I know.
what's the question? You know, yeah.
And you realize if I ever run into Martin Short in a restaurant or on the street, I'm gonna, hey, you're amazing.
Yes,
Just
yes.
try to get his attention. And my other favorite was, and it's like Rammstein. I didn't even understand it, but you interviewed the Iron Sheik in Farsi. That
Yes,
was
I did.
the wrestler.
Yes, I did. I did, and I actually went to his roast at the Comedy Store.
Yeah,
which was-
he seemed to be just as insane in Farsi as he is in English.
Yes, but you know he's a lovely man. I don't know if you saw the documentary, and we spoke later in Farsi. He had a family tragedy. He lost his daughter.
Right.
He's
Oh, wow.
really been through a lot. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, no, you know.
Now you know.
You know,
Yeah.
Wow.
he's a little crazy. We
He's a
know
little kooky.
something's happened. Something
Yeah.
has happened in his life. But you started out doing comedies,
Yes.
and now you're doing mainly horror movies.
I do a lot of horror movies. Lately,
Is this intentional? Is this
I think it's just
your agent? Is this
yes, it's
something?
having representation that believes in you, and I'm like, you know, I'm used to doing stuff with an accent.
It's like
So
you're a better screamer than you are a joke teller. Let's try to get you in the
I
zone.
guess so. Yeah, I'm very good at being scared.
Yeah,
I'm always very scared.
yeah.
I'm a very nervous, uppity woman.
Are you really?
Yes, I'm a very nervous.
When was the last time you were really scared in your real life?
I had like a very scary dream last night. I'm
Oh.
on allergy meds, so I had
Oh, okay.
very frightening. I get frightening dreams. Just being on these sets, hearing about your blood is just scary to me.
Yeah?
Seeing Donna, like her transition in Robowoman, was scary to me. You know, everything is scary. Even
Yeah?
if it's fake, I get scared.
I got it. Yeah, I saw the trailer, but I got to see the whole transition. But there was a movie you were in last year that you got a lot of attention for. I'm trying to think the name of it.
Holy Terror?
Holy Terror.
Oh yeah, that was really something. That was really something.
And I was meaning to watch it. I didn't have a chance this week. How scary is that?
It was very scary because we had to film a scene in a church basement, and we didn't want the church people to know that I was getting exercised.
Yeah, they call her the Persian Linda Blair.
Yeah, for that one, that really helped. And what happened, I think, those kinds of things go on satellite, so people would see snippets of it in the Middle
Right.
East, and it would get like dubbed and stuff, which was very cool. But with that film, they were having their like Christmas parades, like rehearsals upstairs. So like I was being like exercised and thrashed in the basement while they were. It was very funny. It was scary but funny.
Right.
But yeah, it was a great experience. So once again, I work with the amazing Mel Novak, the lovely Christine DeBelle from Meatballs and The Big Brawl. She's a really renowned actress as well. So that was great. I did another horror this year again with the amazing Dustin Ferguson directing Runaway Nightmare, which was based on after-school specials. And again, the lovely Donna Lee Heising was in it as well. So big ensemble cast. But my heart really lies with the bands and Robowoman, and not just because Donna's in it and Mel's in it, but also we have in Robowoman, we have Brink Stevens, who's the ultimate scream queen.
Right.
We have Sue Price, who's in the Nemesis 2 to 5 franchise.
Right.
Great actors, Aki Aliong, who's a legendary Asian American actor. He was in V. He was in all sorts of shows and movies. Just and very a real.
Well, you just had me at the concept of RoboCop, but it's a beautiful woman. You got me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful woman,
You got
and
me on that.
it's a retribution film. It's a sci-fi thriller. It's an action film. And we're into the feminist theater. It's a women's empowerment film without giving too much away. And Dustin,
I should have
did a
never
great
told
job
you it was a
writing.
feminist theater.
I can kind of tell. I see like 20 women outside. That's kind of a hint.
But the bathroom. How
And
great
it's
was
20
that?
women outside, and they're not dressed to the nines in Hollywood. They're not. They don't have their sashes. With all due respect to beauty queens like Donna, it's like 20 women that are dressed like improvisers.
Yeah, I hate to sidebar like this, but when this was the Nerdist, people weren't amazed in the bathroom. People come out of the bathroom, they're like, "Oh my, it's amazing." It's first off, it's clean.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
don't know
very
if
clean.
I don't know if it was clean was the Nerdist, and then
No, you're right. This
and
is
the
cleanest
tampons
theater.
and the whole thing.
It's the cleanest theater bathroom I've ever been in.
Yes, so people
More than UCB.
Yeah, people go crazy for the.
Yeah, it was
bathrooms
pretty
there.
clean. I was like surprised for a minute, but then I realized who runs the theater.
And of course, this podcast studio doubles the lactating station, but I don't know if that's ever actually
yeah,
done.
but I don't know if people actually do that.
They're more than welcome to. But
Yeah.
so I mean, you were featured in Scare LA? You were signing autographs there. How did that work out?
It was wonderful. My attorney Nadia Davari is the attorney for Scare LA.
Ah.
So I also did a panel with her. Well, not really a panel. I moderated like a Q&A session with her.
Okay.
So and I was also at Scare LA and.
Right.
It was a great experience. It's the first convention that kicks off the Halloween season because it's in the summer.
It's a horror convention.
Yeah. And Laura, the gal that started it, I think she's German or Eastern European or something. Laura Ivanova.
Right.
Talking about women that are extraordinary. She started Scare LA and she's an entrepreneur. She has nothing to do with horror or filmmaking or producing, and she just wanted to start this.
Right.
And she did.
No,
So it's
I
impressive.
love it. I was there a couple of years ago, and I probably go. I might. Who knows? I might panel next year. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows what happened.
totally.
I know a lot of people there. But I mean, did people recognize you? Did you sell a lot of merch? Or
Yeah, they did because those kinds of people are the true horror fans. It's not just the big blockbusters. They see the indie films. It was an interesting experience for me.
So the Persian Linda Blair, the words getting out.
Yeah, and someone is like, you should take a picture near the Linda Blair statue because you're the Persian Linda Blair, and I'm like, isn't that a little bit much?
So
little on the nose.
And in Iran, what did you think? I got it. In Iran, what did you think of the Persian Linda Blair? Are they embracing that?
Iranian people love horror films, believe it or not. They're starting to make a couple of their
Yeah,
horror
they're human
films.
beings. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, no, but they really love horror. Like I guess Asian people love horror films. They're fanatical about it. But I think a couple of their films even went to Sundance. But it never really goes very far because a lot of people don't watch subtitled movies.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's weird that my movie is people probably see it in Iran, but here they watch Iranian movies. Like the Iranian community watches Iranian movies from Iran. So it's interesting.
Have you been in any Iranian movies?
Not recently, no.
Okay. But
I like the oldies.
Okay.
I like the old retro.
Right.
Like
well, it's funny because
Cow
that's changing too. A lot of people are watching subtitles. now.
Yeah. Taste of Cherry, like those kinds of movies are
Right.
more.
So
the horror movies are too scary. Persian
yeah.
horror movies. I get scared.
A Taste of Cherries. That's a Persian movie.
Yeah, it's a Persian movie by this guy. He was the head of the jury of Cannes. His name was Abbas Kiarostami. When I was a journalist, I interviewed him. We lost him a few years ago, but he was a big deal. He ran the whole jury at Cannes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Juliette Binoche was in one of his movies.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
And she kissed him on the cheek, and then it caused an international scandal.
Right. Well, speaking of international scandals, I don't know if you know this, but sitting across from you is the woman that was voted the second worst dress
No.
at the
Really?
2017 Grammys.
I loved it.
But you look
You got
amazing.
so
I
much-
love that
you
shirt.
You got so much publicity from that.
Yes, I mean that's what you have to do at the Grammys anyway. If you, unless you're a really big star, and then you can dress really, pretty and whatever.
And then,
Old school Hollywood glamour.
Yeah, but and it's also it's
and
the
then that
Grammys.
Cee Lo for taking the number one
Cee Lo,
spot.
yeah, I was Cee Lo. I think Lady Gaga. I was in good
Well,
company.
no, you were Cee Lo was number 1. You were number 2.
I was number 2. Yeah.
I think Lady Gaga was number 3,
Yeah.
but or maybe Girl Crush was up there.
Yeah.
But describe your dress.
I love it. Oh, the CD dress or the vampire dress? Like
I like the vampire dress, but the CD dress is what really got your attention.
The CD dress. Yeah.
You made a dress out of CDs.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like lace
wow.
and then CDs put on it. Andre Soriano, the designer.
Yes,
Yes.
I've met him before. He's a character.
Yes, he is. And so he's been my clothing guy, my dress guy for the Grammys
Yes.
for the past 2 times I've been,
And you didn't go to 2018?
I did not go. It was in New York, and I just couldn't make it for that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And you love New York.
I do love New York. I know, but it was kind of crazy because it was smaller.
Yeah.
So it was really you have to be really like on point with everything. Like
Right.
I kind of missed the boat on that.
Well, I like the vampire. Obviously, I
The
like the
vampire,
vampire
yeah,
dress.
that was fun.
And then the CD dress, I could see. Now, was that a statement about the disposability?
Exactly. It's like how the
music.
music industry changes and how it's become pretty much obsolete.
I mean, you really entered the music industry right when it died.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that feel?
I think it didn't die. I think it's better than it's ever been, in the sense
Well,
that.
it's not as lucrative as it was.
Well, I think it
for
is.
artists. You
But
think so?
more,
I think it
more
is.
exposure too.
Well,
maybe?
because you have all the gates are open now.
Yeah.
There's no more the big players and they control everything. You can reach out to any music supervisor, to any music library,
Right.
to get your music placed. Licensing is the new A&R, really.
Yeah.
Getting your songs placed.
Well,
in a
that's
TV
the
show.
radio.
Exactly. So I think it's better now because you have Instagram, you have YouTube, you
Right.
have Snapchat.
Yeah.
You have all these platforms that you can really just go and build your audience.
Because
you know?
my theory has always been that's why everybody's doing comedy now.
Oh.
Because a lot of people that would have formed punk bands and indie bands, they're doing comedy now.
I feel that's
Because
so
of
much
all the-
harder.
I-
It's so much
It's
harder.
it's way harder, but
You
depends. I can't sing worth the shit, but you've been solo for how long?
Since actually 2013.
Right.
But I've been focusing mainly in the studio on TV music, so I've been doing
Right.
a lot of instrumental music
Oh,
for
nice.
music libraries and stuff like that.
Well, see, I was on the way here, and actually all day today and yesterday, I was because I was on Tidal, and I was going back and forth between your solo stuff and Otto's daughter. Mm-hmm. It was very schizophrenic.
Really?
Playlist. It's because you're not drenching yourself in blood anymore,
No,
but you're not doing songs like "Kiss My Ass" anymore.
no.
Wow. Kiss
It-
my ass, really?
Oh,
Well, but it's more like electro.
a devil.
pop
What
metal.
was it? Devil's.
Oh, Devil's Paradise.
Devil's
that was
Paradise.
Old, yeah.
Right. So I was going between that and the songs now are like. Let me see here.
Feel the Loving.
Feel the Love. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
you
so
did
more
the Christmas
romantic.
album.
It's a bit more. I want to turn this off.
It's like it's still dance, but it's a
It's a
sunnier
bit more
dance.
ambient, yeah, a bit more ambient and
Right.
yeah,
It's you've gone from
little retro-ish.
on the top Otto's daughter songs on Tidal are Useless,
I love Useless.
Eins fällt dry,
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
We talked about that before.
Hail.
Those
and-
are old songs. Those are really
Yeah,
old
you know,
songs.
this is what
Yeah.
they. You got Kiss My Ass. You got Useless, Fucking You Back.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite songs. Too.
Fucking well, me too. And then
All the songs are clean except that song.
And then Jacqueline
all the
is
Fox in
like,
that song.
Don't Walk Away, Feel the Lovin',
I guess you got to get your
Feel
eggs out
Alive,
that one. so.
Hand in Hand, Feel the Beat.
Oh, Hand in Hand. So that is actually a collaboration with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
That's in German. It's like kind of a Schlager kind of thing.
Feel
that
the
we did for-
Beat.
Feel the Beat. Yeah, that's my little dance song.
Yeah. Sorry. It's so you've gone from industrial and it's still dance.
Yeah.
And it's still good.
Thank you.
But it's more like you would hear in a regular club.
Oh, right.
Do you ever go to Fetish Nation? The club? They used to have
No.
a club here in Hollywood where it was a huge dance club. And they had like the EDM people here.
Sounds like the early 2000s.
And then they had like an industrial club
Wait,
over
was
here.
that across from Bar Sinister?
It was down the street. It was like on Highland.
Oh.
But they had like S&M and industrial and all this
Nice.
stuff on one room.
Wow, like S&M actual like
Yes.
whip.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's where we used to hang out.
That's
and
our
then
scene.
then
So like some guys getting beat up by like a foxy tall woman
Yeah.
with dark
Oh,
hair.
and girls are getting
girls are too.
spanked,
Yeah,
yes.
you know.
I always think of some guy who's like a CEO by day because I see these documentaries on
They
Netflix.
are.
And then like he's like zippered up at night and like
Seems
some
like Jacqueline
tall
knows
lady,
about this.
some tall lady with like dark hair is like beating him up.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically what you're saying is what you this.
Yeah,
place
so
used
these
to
things
be.
would happen, but in the main room they would just have this regular dance club, EDM. So this is more, your Electric Daisy Carnival sort of EDM, but
I
now
love both.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And it shows because they're both good, and you can
Thank
feel
you.
the passion in both. It's two different sides of the coin.
Yeah. I actually have a side project called Reva Eva, and that's a bit more the EDM kind of dancey stuff.
Right.
More techno, almost German techno kind of thing.
Okay.
European techno. And then the Jacqueline Van Bierk is a bit more. I feel like
More
I'm
poppy.
all over the place. Yeah, yeah.
I like European techno.
You know,
Yeah.
but also the ambient dark I still love. I mean, I
Now
love the dark
have
stuff.
some Otto's Daughter fans rebelled because
Some people are like, I love the Otto's Daughter stuff, and I'm like, well,
it's there.
it's there.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, I don't know if I'm going to reform the band at any point. I don't know. I would love to have a band. I
Yeah.
would love to really that's my goal for 2019. It would be nice to have a band.
Can you get
again,
some of the Otto's daughters that came with you to go?
I no.
That's
No,
a-
you have to start fresh. You have to start fresh.
I would love to start fresh.
But not
I
only
think, yeah.
not only are you doing this music, but you on YouTube have your blogging and your vlogging and motivational things.
I just love to be positive, kind of what you were saying, and partially also to just cheer myself up sometimes, because we feel like it makes you feel
town.
good.
Yeah,
It makes you
yeah.
feel good and to make others feel good, right? Because
But like every Monday, you have like a little
Monday
motivational.
motivation, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Motivation
nice.
Monday. I try to be more consistent on it, but it's hard.
You're not motivated.
I know. It's not that I'm not motivated. It's just like time,
Ain't that a bitch? It's Motivation Monday and not motivated.
Yeah, that should be the next one. I'm not motivated at all.
Yeah.
But it's more about just
I was hanging out with Mark again, and I'm not motivated.
No.
Aw.
I just want to hang out with Mark.
Yeah.
God, it sounds like you
Please.
guys go to fun places with those guys getting
Oh,
beat up. and-
we'll take it. I know plenty of those places.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
the
I
best
might
scene.
too dorky for you guys. And
Oh,
I-
you would
Oh,
love
no.
it.
and
You
I-
would love it.
Fun for me.
And
is
they would
like,
love you.
They would
too.
love you. They would love you.
Fun for me is like having Baskin Robbins ice cream and watching like Amazon Prime.
That's
I'd
fun
be
too.
nerdy.
That's fun too.
And
all about
do
the
that,
balance.
Or I have to have the vegan ice cream rather than your
I
sponsor.
have Baskin Robbins. It's okay. But you're also designing clothes.
Yes.
And you've been doing that for how long?
I've been doing it for a long time with my own stuff as Otto's daughter. I've always
Right.
done my own
And
stage
jewelry?
outfits.
Yeah, I love the jewelry.
I didn't do the jewelry. I have to admit that I didn't make
Oh.
that, but I'm selling it on my side. But
I would have just lied. I would have just said it's mine.
oh, it's all mine. I do everything.
But you have again with the positivity of the guardian angel necklace.
Yes,
it's very
exactly.
positive.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah.
Swarovski crystals.
Yeah, I love Swarovski. It's just high quality. The clothing line, it started with the sun protective shawl because I walk my dog a lot.
Right.
And I'm out in the sun a lot and I don't like it because I
So
don't want to
the-
get burned.
Your shirt is from your line.
This is my line too,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
yeah.
I like
but
that.
the shawl is designed to just like protect the skin from sunburn.
Oh,
You
right,
know,
right.
Skin cancer and premature aging, so that's how kind of started.
Right.
Because I always wanted to do it, but I'm like, I don't have the time.
Right.
But when I had that idea, a lot of my friends were like, you gotta just
You
get
have that
this
fair
going.
German skin and
Actually, I used to be so dark. Like in the summer, I'd always just lay out, But
Yeah.
that was then, that was now,
Yeah.
Times have changed.
now
Gotta take care of your skin.
Exactly. Well, skin looks good to me.
Thank you.
So and then that just started and then everything took off from there.
In September, I started it. I was kind of, it's always scary when you start something.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is
It
recent.
was just totally recent, yeah.
Oh wow.
I like my friend Eli James. He has his own clothing line, Ghost Circus. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I met with him before, like a year ago. And I was like, man, I really want to do this. But I didn't have my shit together. And then this year, I was like, yo, Eli, can you help me out here? I need to find a manufacturer. I want to do this. And
Oh, right.
he kind of just helped me. And Desi Design, I have to mention her. She's amazing.
Right.
She really, really helped me. She
Okay.
was just guiding me. She's a great seamstress as well.
Would you ever do your own Grammy dress, or you leave that to
I
Andres
would,
or
I
Anna?
would,
Yeah,
I
I'd
would,
be curious
yeah,
to
yeah,
see what
you
your
know?
ideas
in
are.
2000,
Yeah,
in 2019, if it's
Yeah,
come back
there
to
you
LA,
go.
Yeah.
Do you have something in mind?
I do not yet.
It'll come.
It's got to
you.
be something crazy.
You
know?
got to top the last one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
because,
why.
Because you do want, you know that as a reporter, right? Like an interviewer, you want attention. You know, that's
You
the
have
whole
to
point.
stand out.
You have to stand
be
out.
an individual.
Yeah, an individual.
Yeah.
And so it's got to be true to you, and then also stand out. You know, that's a bit crazy.
And how did the interviewers take to you?
You know, a lot of them, you have to be there at the right time, because once Lady Gaga shows up, or Adele, all these people, you know.
And the press line is very cramped, I would
It's very
imagine.
cramped, you know, so they obviously, timing is everything.
Right.
So we had a few interviews, it was fun, you know.
I'm sure, who are you was the first question.
Of course, who are you and who are you wearing, you know, and
Right.
what does it mean, you know.
Right. That's great. I'm glad you made a splash.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you get it?
It was fun.
Yeah. Did you get an uptick in streaming after that?
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah?
yes. Got some more fans. They're like, I saw you at the Grammys, you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like in a couple of years, I would love to hold a Grammy.
Yeah, I would love for you. I would love for you to hold
You
a
know,
Grammy. Why not?
That's the goal.
But what's the group that you were doing some techno music with? There was a group that you were doing stuff with. I have to look it up. But
Not Reva Eva, right?
No,
That's
so there was another
project.
one. Cold something or I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
But you've been doing a lot of guest vocals too.
A lot of guest vocals and just a lot of collaborations.
Right.
You know, for placements and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Just
but could you,
branching out.
have you performed at any EDM festivals? Or?
I have not. It's all on my list for next year. Like, I'm really aching. I'm a performer at heart, and I love performing. And the one thing I love the most, I haven't done in a long time.
Right.
You know, so that's
more glitter, less blood.
Both. Let's do both.
Okay, let's do both. Speaking of blood, boy, where's the time go? I was going to ask you. Now, I also read that you are the first Iranian that was inducted to the Martial Arts Hall of Fame.
Yes, I've done kickboxing, but I'm taking a break because I sound like such an old lady. Tendonitis in my right shoulder.
Aww.
But working with people like Mel, and I know a lot of like actors and martial artists, it was like I would get a lot of training and hints and tips from them, mostly how not to get injured in an action scene. But yes, I was very honored to be a part of that.
How is that possible?
Because I've done kickboxing.
No, not you. I mean, there had to be somebody that I know there's Iranian.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it either. They flew some guy in from Israel. I would think maybe they're all in Iran and they can't
maybe
get out
they were trying
the
to get
visas.
a fight between you and him.
Oh, I have nothing against the Israeli guy.
I'm sure he had nothing against Iran, but who knows?
When he found out I was Persian, he was actually like even nicer to me. Isn't that crazy? I was like, oh yeah, very cool.
I'm not saying him, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying maybe the promoters are like, hey, we can solve the Middle East
know,
crisis
right
here.
Yeah. So it was put on by the amazing Jim Thomas and Lori Thomas. They're fabulous.
Now you're that good a martial artist?
I was pretty good, but I'm no Mel Novak. I'm no, like, I don't know.
Right.
I'm trying to think of some others, like TJ Storm. And
right.
I'm not like those guys. You know, they're like, you know.
But you're Hall of Fame worthy. Are you a black belt?
Not a black belt. I've just, you know, for me, it was never a competition. For me, it was.
You're a Hall of Famer, but not a black belt?
Well, I've done a lot, but I've just taken classes.
You could have said you're black belt.
Yeah, just say it.
Oh, yeah, Bob Wall, all these incredible people. They've advised me. But, you know, for me, it was always like...
good for you.
But for me, it was always like... I'll tell you why I really enjoyed it, because it was great for weight loss, and it was great for motivating being positive.
Yeah.
Why are you cracking up? You're making me crack up.
Maybe that's a good one for Motivational Monday.
Yeah, it's a good one for Motivational
there you go.
Monday.
Yes.
I miss my flat stomach. I want to get back into it.
Yeah, but you injured yourself on Robowoman or another movie?
I injured myself. I don't want to get into which movie, but let's say it was very dramatic.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it a love scene or what was it?
No.
Oh, that's what I thought.
we were all thinking the same thing.
I was pushed against the chair, and like the backs of the chair
So it was a love
hitting
scene.
my shoulder. I was like getting beat up.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, and sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. I feel like I'm an old lady. I got to put Salon Pass on my shoulder, and it smells like Ben Gay. It's very depressing.
CBD.
Really?
Wah, wah. Oh yeah, I have to do that. Yeah.
See
you
that?
drink it?
You just take a few drops.
Oh, does it get you high?
No.
No.
Unfortunately, not.
Our producer might know different, but
That's why you
I'm
take
sure
a
they
few
have
drops,
that.
right?
Yeah.
That's why
it doesn't smell like Ben Gay. I'll tell you that.
I guess so, yeah.
You'll be eating a lot of Baskin Robbins after that.
Or I actually lately like, what is that brand? They have a store in Studio City. They're not your sponsors. I got to try your
That's
sponsor.
okay. No. You
Haagen-Dazs I like too.
Haagen-Dazs,
Yeah, it's
yes,
very
that's
German. Rum raisin.
That's old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Watch Goliath and have my Haagen-Dazs.
I was surprised. I was in the supermarket. I was surprised they're still in business. Haagen-Dazs used to be huge.
You know, they still have like 20 brands at the local Ralph's and Gelson's.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
Too much Haagen-Dazs, not enough kickboxing.
you're in great shape. Look at me, please. You want to see something that's out of shape?
Yeah, but that's your shtick.
Yeah, that's my shtick.
That's your shtick.
That's
You're
my
a
shtick. I want to be out of shape. That's my shtick.
Yeah, but if
I'm
you
the out of shape comedian.
if
That's
you were
my
a thin
shtick.
comic, would you be as funny?
Well, let me put it this way: it's 2018.
And
Most of the comics are thin and good looking, so I'm out.
not.
But you're still in.
No, I was driving by.
Still
I was
in.
driving by the Laugh Factory, and they had the comics for tonight. And I swear, except for Sarah Shepard, they all look like models.
Oh.
And they're funny?
You might want to get back into it. I don't know.
Oh, you're too kind.
Maybe not. But anyway, before we where does the time go? What were you going to say?
Can I sneak out real quick to put?
Well, we're ending right now.
Are you ending right
we're
now?
ending right now.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, Jacqueline, you've got so many things. This goes by so fast,
It
I
does.
and when it's a good show, Jacqueline, tell us all about what you have. How do we get a hold of you? Your YouTube channel, any music you want to promote. You have a Christmas album that came out last year.
I did last year, yeah.
How cute.
I forgot to even
Those
mention
are
that.
old songs, yeah, but I had to release them, and they're all
In
kind of really
English?
sad. Yeah, they're kind of sad.
Oh,
I used to be
sad
really
Christmas
sad,
song.
and then I wrote a really fun.
Are you sad on Christmas?
song. Normally I am, ever since my dad passed away. But then I wrote a really fun song like Santa Baby,
Yeah.
let me be a ho ho ho.
Ah.
So, it's more fun.
So let everybody know how to get a hold
So
of you.
JacquelineVanBierk.com.
Yes.
And my fashion line is Jack Van B.
Jack Van Bierk.
JacVanBee.
Right.
So everything Jacqueline Van Bierk,
Yes.
I'm under all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. It's so great talking to you.
Thank you. It's so great being here
Okay,
and meeting you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
great
Yeah.
meeting you.
Great chemistry in
Yeah.
the room. I thought you guys would get along great. And Vida,
Awesome.
tell everybody what you got going on, how people get a hold of you, any movies you have coming out.
Right on. We'll just wrap Robowoman and Runaway Nightmare. Should be on various platforms. Abeyance just wrapped that as well. That's in post. I also shot a film, The Untimely Demise of Miranda Vale. So that should be coming out soon. And I'm also reoccurring on this suspense show on XM Satellite Radio at Raleigh Studios.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I'm
Wow.
very excited about
I
that
forgot to
one.
mention that. I did see that.
It's a precursor to The Twilight Zone. So, and this is the remake. So
That's
they've
cool.
had great actors on it like Marilyn Gigliotti and just, great talent. And honored to be a part of that. And you can find me on social media at my name, Vida Ghaffari, VidaGhaffaf like Frank ARI. And you can also find me at So Very Vida.
Yes. And don't sell yourself short. You're a great talent as well.
Oh, thank you.
How do you say have a wonderfully creepy week in Farsi?
How do you make creepy?
How do you say that in German?
Wait. Inshallah هفته وحشتناکی داشته باشی.
And how do you say that in German?
Habt eine super grausame Woche.
Have a wonderfully creepy week. Bye.
Bye.